Welcome to this Endorian Life, a nostalgic Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we are taking apart the world of Star Wars Lego brick by brick.
No, we're going to take it apart, all right.
Oh my gosh.
Today we're discussing the final episode of the new Yoda Chronicles, Clash of the Skywalkers, which first aired on Disney XD, November 19th, 2014. That was, like 12 years ago?
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Just
hard
about.
to believe.
Just about.
Not long enough.
Yep.
Okay.
No. But here we are, and that's fine. That's
forgotten.
Fine. Yeah.
Sure.
You know, speaking of years past, Steve, today is our 5-year anniversary of doing this podcast.
You know, it's funny. If you would ask me, casually, like, how many years do you think we've done this? I would say, I don't know, like 2?
Yeah.
Two, maybe 3 years. 5?
5.
Wow.
5
if
full
you're still
years.
Listening, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We probably have some OG listeners out there too, which is
probably.
Way to stick with us.
I think it's a real testament to our dedication, because on paper, this is a terrible idea for a podcast, you know?
I know. Yeah.
Subject yourself to the worst that Star Wars has to offer and then talk about it for the rest of your lives. But, you know, here we are. I wanted to ask you, and I didn't prep you with this question, but I'm just curious, like looking back, do you have a favorite era of the podcast and a least favorite era of the podcast?
That's a good question. You know,
Thank you.
I think my favorite era of the podcast, and I can't remember which I actually forget totally which way it was. Did it go from the Ewoks show from 20-minute episodes to then like 11-minute episodes?
Yes, the first season, was 25 minutes or so.
I think for me that original where they had that length was good, and then after that, somehow it wasn't Disney then, but like somehow Star Wars in general kind of cut to that time length for a lot of their stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't know, like for me, like I remember those good old days of being able to like put together a story, kind of like have 3 acts and analyze it, you know. And now, you know, like I feel like I look back and I go like, oh yeah, there was like some glaring plot holes, and it's just like, you know, maybe it's because they cut half the episode.
True.
Like true. You're now writing something shorter, and you got that little bit of time. Like, you know, you got like a 25-page comic book, a 30-page comic book to like be able to tell an entire story.
Right.
And so I don't know. I feel like that to me was my favorite era.
The original run. Okay.
The original run where like we were able to analyze it. There was a moral of the story. Like it was time to actually get to know characters instead of immediately try and like progress a story, because you only had 12 minutes total. You know.
Yeah.
What about you?
You know, I haven't gone back and like listened to our ratings and recaps of things, so maybe I'm wrong about this. But in my memory, when I think back of what I enjoyed the most, I think it was the Ewoks comics, like the comics that after I don't know, maybe because there was less. Like I enjoyed just like reading the comic book and then talking about it. Like there was something more fun to me about that than watching even those 11-minute episodes. Like I just love comic books, I guess. So maybe that was it.
No, I forgot about that era of our show. That was a good era too. It was fun. Like, you know, like, okay, you know, I'll see you next time. And then like, you know, a few days later going like, oh, I gotta like find that comic book and read it, because my daughters would take it and just like read it. And I'd find it like behind the toilet in the bathroom, or like under 35 books under their beds. Like, so it was like every other week, it was, I had to fight to find that comic book to read it.
Well, see, it's funny because even though like those episodes are my favorite, it overlaps with the era that is my least favorite. And that is the Droids cartoon. I hated those. Like they were just so ugly and stupid, and it's just like every episode was like, here's a whole new cast. They suck. The character designs are awful, and C-3PO and R2-D2 are no longer cool.
Yeah, they're not cool, and they weren't really a part of it.
No.
You know, like you know, I just it's funny.
Is that yours too? Is that your least favorite part?
That's probably my least favorite part.
We're over
Yeah,
time.
I think so. Even the short, how jarring it was going from 22-minute episodes, 25-minute episodes to the 11-minute, 12-minute episodes of Ewoks. They still there was still like some bangers that were short, but like the droids was just like it's not even about the droids. It's like, even the show, the droid show is the same thing. Like
brutal.
It just felt like they were C characters in their own show. So
and the comics for the droids really didn't make it any better either. Like the Ewok comics were kind of it was a nice palate cleanser after the show, but the droids it was just like, nope, more of the same, only with fewer colors.
So, and have to read it.
Enjoy that.
All the droid stuff that was just that was a slog. I'd say that was probably our, we were like, all right, you ready to record this week?
Right. It's really true. And every time to sit down to watch those episodes, I was like, why are we doing this again?
I question my life choices.
Here we are. I have to, and this is going to jump ahead in the podcast, so I'm sorry, but I was thinking about the Droids cartoon while I was watching this last episode of the new Yoda Chronicles, and the one thing that I can give to the droids over this is at least the droids were taking big swings. Like they didn't work, but they were like, let's craft basically a 90-minute movie with all new characters and throw the droids into it. And, these episodes have just been like, I mean, it really does sort of feel like, oh, well, these are the Lego figures we have today. So I guess we'll just make a story about them, and who cares about continuity or how these characters act? We'll just beep, boop, beep, boop. And I really feel like that's the thing that kills this for me. So that's the one nice thing I can say about the Droids cartoon. Like, at least they were trying something
new, and they were trying something new. This show, pretty much Lego Star Wars up to this point, is all just member berries, and it blows my mind. I realized it when I was watching this one, where I was just like, who did they make this for? Like, obviously kids, right? But like, there's these jokes and scenes that happen where like a kid is not going to get that unless they are a 35 to 45-year-old Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like, but those guys aren't watching it. We only watch it because
we don't know why. Fill in the blank. We don't know why we're doing it. Just so we can hang out together. That's the only reason.
So it's like, who's this for? Like, who's that joke? Like, oh, that was a clever joke, but like, my 9-year-old, my 11-year-old, they're not going to get that, Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, I think that this and many of the Lego properties are trying to follow that formula that the Muppets nailed so well. That it's like, it's fun, it's colorful, it's for kids, but the parents watching are kind of snickering at what Kermit's like double entendre and stuff.
Yes.
And I feel like the Lego stuff is trying to make that happen, and it does sometimes. Rebuild the Galaxy is a great example, but this is a terrible example.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's
continue. Let's continue.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing. I years ago bought a digital copy of this series on. It was called Voodoo then. Now it's called Fandango at home, and so I have that, and that's how I've been watching it. And there are two versions of this episode. One is called Clash of the Skywalkers, and one is called Duel of the Skywalkers.
Crash would work too.
True.
Come on, let's be honest. That's what it was.
And I just couldn't figure out why there was two. I didn't know why they were both there. So I looked on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia, to be clear.
Ooh, Wookie. Yeah.
This was what Wikipedia had to say. That there's a slightly different ending in Duel of the Skywalkers. And here's the quote. Similar to the original, but with Vader getting swallowed by the slug instead. He still manages to free himself by striking the slug's uvula with his lightsaber, causing the beast to send him flying in space. The rebels celebrate their victory on Hoth, while Jack 14 works on unfreezing Han's lips from C-3PO's face. Meanwhile, Vader is hanging in an asteroid rock, floating in space, and calling out to someone for help. So that's the alternate version.
Not much better. Yeah, not much better.
It's not. So I don't understand why there's two, but that's it. Cast and crew, let's see, written by Michael Price, once again directed by Michael Hegner. Classic returning characters, once again, Anthony Daniels holding down the fort as C-3PO. There's another cast member that we have to talk about, and it's a sad one because legendary voice actor Tom Kane, who voices Yoda in this, at time of recording, just recently passed away at the age of 64 after complications from a stroke. So that was pretty shocking news to me. So let me give you a little background on Tom Kane.
Hmm.
Tom Kane's first Star Wars role was that of Yibo in the 1996 game Shadows of the Empire. He began voicing Yoda in the 1999 video game Yoda's Challenge and has continued to do so in most major Star Wars productions up to the 2022 video game Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. He's voiced many Star Wars characters over the years, notably voicing Admiral Akbar in The Last Jedi, the film. And he even has voiced C-3PO a couple of times on the very rare occasions when it's not Anthony Daniels, it's been Tom Kane.
Wow. Okay.
He also did voice work in some things that are near and dear to our heart, Steve, including Star Trek Elite Force 2.
Oh, yes.
Invasion Iowa, which was like
oh man, disintegrate. I
So
can't even
great.
say. I can't even say.
So great. That's William Shatner and Desi Lydic from The Daily Show, and Tom Kane played a bunch of celebrity voices. Like there was, if you don't know that show, you should look it up and find it because
It's a gem.
It's an interesting watch. So that's probably how I first knew of Tom Kane. But from that, and he also did voice work in Iron Man the animated series, which Hillary and I talked about in a special episode of Previously on X-Men. That show's a nightmare. But beyond that, he's pretty much touched every major franchise: Indiana Jones, DC Comics, X-Men, Powerpuff Girls, of course, Power Rangers, Scooby-Doo, Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, Team Knight Rider, Lord of the Rings, Smurfs, Minecraft. Like, you could just go on and on forever. This is like a Frank Welker caliber of voice credits to Tom Kane.
Done everything. Yeah.
Yes. And, we have watched some things where he wasn't Yoda, and the Yoda voice, like, you think everybody can do a Yoda voice, and you hear a bad one, and it's like nails on a chalkboard. And he has really, like, it's a great Yoda voice.
Yeah, it's polished. It's
Yeah.
You appreciate it because then you hear Vader's voice, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, as much as that guy's done everything,
Yeah.
he's Vader in a lot of stuff. I mean, he did I think he's the same voice in Freemaker.
Yeah.
But like the Yoda voice is like, oh yeah, that's Yoda. If I had my eyes closed and I heard Vader, I'd be like, who is that? You know? But yeah, like, it's without making him sound too much like a Muppet.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. And so, yeah, I give him props for doing, a very polished, very consistent Yoda voice throughout his entire career, which is incredible. I mean, as you get older, it must be tough. So
it's certainly a loss to the entertainment world, the Star Wars world, the voice acting profession. So that was sad news to hear. So just want to shout out and a special thanks to Tom Kane for all the good work over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And his family, too. Our thoughts are with them.
Yes.
It's crazy, too, because I own both video games, his first and his last.
Do you?
Yeah. I own Shadows of the Empire on N64, which I still have.
Yeah.
And I have the Skywalker Saga, which I played. I don't know. I think I'm about an hour into it.
Well, there you go. Now's the time.
Remember, you told me all the Easter eggs that were in the Last Jedi part of it, but I just haven't gotten there yet. So
a lot of Ewok deep cuts and stuff. So anyway, our Star Wars link for this episode is Eric Bauza, who's pulling double duty here. He's voicing both Luke and Porkins. He also voices the droid E83 on Young Jedi Adventures, and in the Star Wars world, he voiced the Cerritos Con officer in several episodes of Lower Decks. Lower Decks.
Star Trek.
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. Low.
He voiced Barnus Frex in Star Trek Prodigy and Screwhead in Star Trek Very Short Treks.
Oh man,
there you go.
I loved Lower Decks. I don't know why it took so long to watch it.
I know.
And then when I did, because we did it for the
Star Trek Day,
the Star Trek Day one, I just continued. I just kept rolling, and that's the first time in a while that I didn't go, oh, I only had to watch the first season, so I'm good. It was like
a good time.
I can't wait to finish this show. It's so good.
Yeah, it is a good time for sure.
Man.
And speaking of good times, we're about to not have one. So why don't you take us into the Yoda Chronicles?
Good times, it's over.
Right.
All right, I'm going to go through my short Uber detailed plot because I could not stand writing anything about this.
Please
all right.
do.
Uber detailed plot of Lego Star Wars New Yoda Chronicles: Clash or Duel of the Skywalkers. Which
on how you watch it.
Yep. We pick up where we left off, I guess. And because I can't remember. It's so memorable. We pick up where we left off, and there was only one holocron left in the hands of Luke Skywalker. In one last push to find Luke, Vader manages to hunt down and destroy Luke in his X-Wing. Or did he? The rebels, from their hidden base on Mustafar, devise a clever plan to fool Vader with a decoy Luke. Even with a small victory, Luke is still mopey. Han, Chewie, and 3PO work to prepare the next secret rebel base on Hoth and run into some issues with a Wampa. Vader's celebration of killing Luke is stifled with the news that Luke's ship was piloted by a decoy, and he deals with the news very well. Yep. Back on Mustafar, Luke accidentally activates a film through his holocron and sees his dad, Anakin, pull a daring distraction against the Trade Federation. His holocron activation is discovered by Imperial probes, and the fleet heads out to attack. The Emperor doesn't trust Vader, so he heads to Mustafar himself. With the fleet about to arrive, Luke has an idea on how to distract them so the rebels can escape, just like his father did. The plan works, and a massive Imperial fleet chases after Luke. Back on Hoth, Han and the crew manage to escape the Wampa with enough time to light a beacon for the rebel fleet to arrive safely. Vader and Luke manage to shoot each other down onto a massive asteroid. That's why Crash and the Skywalkers work. They clash lightsabers for about 3 seconds before Vader tosses Luke using the Force. Luke eggs Vader on and tries to use an Exegorth. Is that how you would say that? I looked it up. I remember Space Slug.
That's how I would say it. So yes.
Yeah, okay, Exegorth. I looked it up because I always say Space Slug, and I was like, wait a minute. No, I remember it does have a name. Exegorth to defeat Vader, but the Slug is Vader's pal, unbeknownst to Luke. He and R2 are swallowed, but Luke strikes the uvula of the Exegorth, causing it to spit him and R2 out to safety into space, which I shouldn't write safety because because that is not safe.
Yeah, his eyeballs were sucked from his head shortly after that.
Yeah, unless you're Leia, then you can just survive anything.
Then you can.
Yeah. Vader again celebrates his victory, air quotes, with another party. Roll credits. Oof. Thank God.
Oof.
It's not even an end. It's not even an end. They don't even win. They don't. I mean, there's nothing. Literally, his invaders' entire, everything is destroyed, and they're like, woohoo! And I was just thinking, what did they actually win? They won nothing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I don't know. I mean, the first season was fine. I thought, I was liking the characters. I was liking some of the bits. I liked that it was showing us something that we hadn't seen before. Because they gave you a little bit more maybe something will happen to this person, or maybe this person will turn evil, or there was things that you could do with the characters. The second season makes the first season look like The Godfather. It just makes it look like peak cinema. I did not like this. I didn't like it, Steve. I don't know if you were aware, but
it's in name only. I specifically, I even wrote on here. What is it? Not so. I have a lot of Okavarks, so I'm okay with just releasing one of them right now and shooting across the bow of Disney Star Wars. This was not Star Wars, and it was not Lego. And that's what was truly disappointing about this. That there was, I mean, just you take away the fact that there was no story to it. It just didn't feel like Star Wars because it just felt like it had that same effect that the sequels had, where it was like this just feels like retellings of the same each episode. 7, 8, 9 just felt like 4, 5, and 6. That there was nothing new about it. You get like you said, there's a new appreciation for the first season of this because of how the second one was, where the sequels came out, and it's just well, I actually do appreciate the prequels now because jive with the story. They're at least part of the story, With this, it was just at the end, I was like, it didn't feel like Lego at all. It just looked like Lego. Why make this a Lego when they could have just made this like a young Jedi Adventures? Silly characters, or just using the same characters and animated them as humanoid looking instead of Lego looking. So because the point was we got to go get somebody. Oh, but our ship is destroyed. Let's build one. That's literally essentially Lego to a T. That's all they had to do. So it's weird. It's just weird to me. Like this early Lego, you know?
I guess watching this, I felt like this was a little bit more akin to Thumb Wars than Star Wars.
Oh,
You know what I
right.
mean? It was
Yeah,
like
that's exact. Nailed it.
more
Yeah,
parody than,
it's more parody just with Lego licensing. I don't know, like
yeah,
I look back and I go like, man, what a colossal waste of
yeah,
money that like they paid for the Lego licensing and they didn't use like. I wonder if like Lego people, you know, CEO like the higher ups look at this and go like, man, like why did we let them do this? I mean, they made money, right? But it's like
yeah. I'm sure it did
there's
fine. You know,
marketing, right?
yeah,
It's just to like create characters and get them out there. Like, oh, there's an
yeah,
Akbar figurine, cool,
yeah,
you know, and oh, there's a Porkins figurine, woohoo!
yeah,
Let's go, you know, to the store and buy that set. But like,
yeah.
there is no Lego aspect of it at all. And
No.
like after watching, what was it? What was the Lego one we watched? I was like,
Rebuild,
really good.
rebuild
Rebuild the Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yeah, like that. I mean, to me, is like when Star Wars comes to Lego and they're like, hey, we'd like to combine. Like, don't you think Lego's like, oh yeah, like, oh, I can't wait for you guys to like build ships and do things. And they're like,
Yeah,
and Disney like, yeah, yeah, we're not gonna do that at all.
yeah.
How about you know, like you don't think
Well,
Lego people are like, really? You're not gonna like, you know, okay, like you can buy our licensing fine, but
it does
like,
have the
you
stink
know,
of like corporate merging. You know, it's like Disney has the Star Wars license,
yeah.
and it's like, all right, let's get a product out there. Let's go. Let's go.
It's like
Let's get
really
this.
lazy.
Let's start to get these billions back. You know, so it just, yeah,
It's like, you know what it's like to me? It's like I walked to the store, I went to go get deodorant, and it was well, it was shoot, it was a Super Mario Galaxy,
yeah,
like
sure.
flavored
Flavored. Huh.
uh not flavor, what scented
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
spice, and I was like, really? Like, who's that? Like, you know, I'm like, I'm a 40-year-old man, like, pass, hard pass, you
Yeah.
know, and it was just like, what is that? It's like lazy marketing with, you know, like, hey, let's put these two things together without
Yeah.
really figuring out how they work and make it
Yeah.
effective, right? Like yeah, that Rebuild the Galaxy just nails it. That's
Yeah.
that's what people wanted, I'm sure. So
I guess I feel like looking at this second season, there the new Yoda Chronicles, like even this episode, I don't know that I would say watching it, I was like, I hate every minute of this, you know, because it's like not a big enough deal for me to muster up like a hate for it. You know what I mean? It's just like
it's I nothing this one was
exactly.
just,
Yeah. It
when it was
finished
done,
and
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
oh, that's
yeah,
it? That's how they
yeah,
ended it? Ugh,
yeah.
jeez. You know, like
It
it was too far
joyless.
for me to go, I wasted all my life. It only felt like I
Right.
wasted 20 minutes rather
Right.
than
Yeah.
like 3 hours of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I completely agree with that. That it was just like, oh, good riddance. Like, of course, that's how this ends. When
Yeah.
I was like, I even had to Google like how many episodes are there. It was like I was like, oh yeah, this is the last one, culminating
Yeah.
in Clash or Duel of the Skywalkers, and I'm like, wow, that was worse ending than Battlestar Galactica and Lost. like that was because at least they tried to close
Yeah.
the close it. This was just like, I mean, he defeated Luke technically. They had like a Luke party with like the balloons. I had like a Luke with the no smoking circle
Yeah.
through it.
Right.
It's like, what? Like, but they didn't even really defeat him. Like, he's still alive, and
But
I
see,
don't
I
know.
think that
Like,
is just such a hallmark of the Disney era. You know, when you compare
yeah,
it to things they were doing, like Shadows of the Empire is a great example. Anything with the expanded universe, like whether it was good or bad, they were like,
yeah,
oh, Luke has a romance with someone who is basically the embodiment of the Force. Sure, Han and
yeah.
Leia are married. They have kids. Like they just were doing all sorts of stuff, you know. And like the Star Wars books now, with few exceptions, are very much like, okay, keep the focus very narrow. Don't change the
Yeah,
status quo of any character. Like we might want to have a series about that. So do not talk about, you know, what Leia was doing when she was 13. Like do not show what Poe
yeah,
Dameron is doing after you know. And because of that, it's like there's just nothing you can do. And I feel like this is sort of really the start of that. It's like
yeah.
we can't mess with any of these characters. I don't even know why they had Jack in it anymore. Like it was so crazy.
I
I'm like,
completely forgot about
we've
him.
moved past all of this. I don't know. It's difficult for me to pick an Oak of Arc because I really feel like the bottom line is like it just doesn't work. So I guess
Yeah,
I would say my oak of arc is that it just doesn't find a tone. I don't
yeah.
know if it wants to be funny. I don't know if it wants to try to be saying anything about Star Wars. It just really seems like a paint by numbers. Throw some Star Wars, throw some Lego. Hopefully, we can move a few toys, you know, and that's it. So I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of what it is for me. But
Even the Yoda part, like we've said it,
yeah,
I feel like we say it every episode where it's just
yeah,
like this still feels like it. Yoda's barely in it,
yep,
and it still feels like Yoda and Obi-Wan are reminiscing.
mhm,
Except no, it's actually happening at that
right.
moment, and
And they're
it's
just
like
not doing
that
anything.
to
Yeah,
me, it's such like a. Well, they weren't sitting at the table like I don't know. People might be bothered by the fact that it almost seems like they're reminiscing over
yeah,
a campfire, cooking hot dogs.
yep,
Like that no one thought that maybe we shouldn't do that. Like maybe Yoda should be in the new Yoda Chronicles. And it would have been easy to write him in,
yeah,
right? He could have just been out at the Mustafar base. He
yep,
could have been with Luke the entire. He could have just been with Luke the entire time.
yeah,
The two of them.
yeah. I
I
still
just
say if this was all leading up to Luke and Yoda meeting the first time, and Yoda was sort of like catching up on all of this stuff, he
yeah,
was trying to
yeah.
like figure out what was going, like something like that. Let him be the one who's like experiencing this kind of thing in preparation, and then have it end with Luke showing up on Dagobah, and Yoda's like, "Okay, now we begin." I
I
mean,
knew it would come.
that would
Like
be
something
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like he's been watching his every move until he
yeah,
got there,
yeah,
but he
exactly.
has. And it was like there was a weird part too where it was like, oh, he didn't what he didn't foresee. He said like, oh, I didn't foresee that, and Obi-Wan was like, yeah, there's a lot you're not foreseeing in his hot dog like burns, and
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, only with the big stuff. And I was just like, well, that doesn't make any sense because that was a small thing. So,
right.
so when you have foreseen that, I
Yeah,
was like,
that's true.
it's even down to like the joke to me. That didn't land because you said
No,
it wrong. Like,
right. Even the internal logic. Good things. Do you have an Ichiwawa moment?
yes, I really appreciated finally somebody talking about the fact that there's no railings on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm a safety guy, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
my profession.
That's
So
true.
like, every
Yeah,
time I see that, I'm like, ooh,
yeah. That's an
that's
accident waiting to
that's bad.
happen.
So it's not that's gonna be. And so like the Emperor going, we really need railings was just like, yeah. And then one guy's like, I've been saying that the whole time. Like, I just thought I was like, okay, that one was pretty good. That and I noticed it right off the bat. There's a scene where the Star Destroyer that is damaged is like headed towards like a desert planet, and
Mm,
you get blaster fire from another ship coming behind it, but it's like missing below it. And I was like, ooh, that reminds me of episode 4. And it
mm,
was literally just a callback to episode 4 where
okay.
a destroyer was being chased by a blockade runner as opposed to a blockade runner being chased by a star destroyer, which I thought
Yeah,
was like, oh, that's kind of fun. That like that one of those jokes where I was like, a kid's not immediately gonna get that. Maybe
yeah,
if they're like 13, 14, they'll be like, oh, hey, I remember when my dad showed me this old movie, you know,
yeah,
where that's how it started.
yeah,
But like to me, I was like, oh, I recognized it immediately from that first blaster missed below it. I was like, ha, just like the original. And I was like, oh, it is just like the original. So like for me, I was just like, all right, somebody's being clever and calling back to the original. But
yeah,
not I had to. There was a little bit I had to kind of find something I liked.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like the railing part. I was like that. I decided, okay, that's my favorite part. What about you?
I also had two little moments that just made me laugh. There's one point where, uh, the Luke actor Eric Bauza, who was our feature today,
Yeah, yeah,
is doing that real because he's so whiny in the first one. Then power commanders,
yeah,
like he's so whiny, and so he's doing that. And Leia is like, "Can you not be so mopey?" And he's like, "I'm not mopey." I
yeah.
thought that made me laugh. That made
Funny.
me laugh.
You know.
Yeah. And then there was another thing when they're driving into or like flying into Mustafar, there's like an asteroid, there's a little sign and it says like visit Mustafar, then in parentheses it says it's a dry heat.
Yeah, it's a like they do
That's
well
funny.
with the space signs, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're by the asteroid field, and there's like a
Yes.
call one sign that says, yes, that asteroid field.
Yeah, that's
Like,
so funny.
yeah, it's funny. I thought that was funny, you know, but it's like that's already. I mean, that's like a run-on joke throughout almost all of Lego Star Wars. I feel like the signs are always, you know, are always good. Are always good.
Yub nubs. How do you give these?
Are we just gonna glaze over Oak of Arcs? Are we just gonna glaze over all of them?
Oh, you want more? Hit it. Hit me with more Oak of Arcs. Yeah.
I got them lined up. So like,
I'm ready. Yeah.
Yoda was fooled by the decoy. So like, I looked at that. Like when that happened, he was like, "Oh man!" Like you know, like he was almost fooled. I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
You wouldn't realize that like Luke is not in danger if you sensed Luke. You sensed with the Force an electronic image of Luke in a ship.
Yeah.
You know, thousands of light years away. To me, I was just like, that just falls short of. It was just progressing that side plot of Obi-Wan and Yoda rather like foolishly. I was like, that doesn't work.
I guess Yoda's Force sensitivity is like a CCTV. You know, he's just like watching the screen. Yeah, well, that looks all right. So
wow, really looks like him. You know, he's bluish, but you know, the Imperial Guard voice. I was really enjoying the fact that you never ever hear an Imperial Guard's voice, and you never hear him talk.
Oh,
it almost to me almost makes them more menacing than Vader and the Emperor, where you're just like, dude, these guys like, are they like really good at what they do? Like they never talk.
Steve, this is reminding me of your star turn as the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come in college. You know, so silent, so spooky,
13,
so tall.
13 rings of the bell.
Yeah,
you remember that? So it was like, and I was like, well, it's too late.
Like, future, baby, Ghost of Christmas future. Who knows? Anyway, yes, I agree. They're more menacing when silent.
Yeah, more menacing. Yeah, and then like, okay, this one actually really bothered me. It was the joke of what's in Chewie's bandolier,
right?
And it was candles because he's so sensitive. And I was just like, really, really, that's what you're gonna go with? And I just thought like that like I don't know. That kind of bothered me where I was just like, that could have been like something way more clever.
Yeah.
And they just like, it just fell short as like, they just kind of made fun of it. Cause like, you know, it's like one of those things where you're like, there's always all these questions of like, oh, what happened before the Death Star plan, you know, like the Death Star plans came before Leia, like all these things that we wonder about, you know, like, oh yeah, how did Jedi or how did Sifra-Dyas die? You know, like all these things where you just wonder, and then they try and close that story where like people, you know, there was times where I was like, oh, I wonder what Chewie is carrying in there. Mm-hmm. And again, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna put that in there, and it's gonna be something you're not gonna like. It's gonna be something lame. That kind of bothered me because I was just like, they could have just done something way better. It could have been glow sticks. It could have just been a survival kit. Oh, good, it has a glow stick in it. You know, or I don't know.
Leave-in conditioner, hair detangler, something like that.
Like I don't know. I was saving that for Life Day. Like anything would have just, you know. Anyway, and then Han kiss at the end when I was literally watching it happen. I was like, what's going on? Why is this feels so out of character for Han? And then he kisses him, and I was like, oh, that was like it like, I mean, that, to me, I was just like, geez, they could have been like, they couldn't have had like 3PO save Han, and Han be like, oh my gosh, I could give you a kiss, you know, like gives him a kiss, you know, like. Or like, I don't know, instead of giving Wookiee a kiss, he gives 3PO a kiss, and then you know, I don't know, it could have been anything else, but it was just like, what's happening? This is really awkward and weird. This is so out of character. So like that, just to me, again, like another writing thing where it's just like nobody sat there and was like, yeah, I don't know if people are going to accept that this is Han if we do this, you know.
I don't think they're thinking of that at all. I think they're just like, what would be goofy in Lego form, and just go for it, you know. And
kids will love, right. I think I'm gonna go real crazy here and go. I think this felt worse than the holiday special.
I saw that in your notes, and I don't think I can go on that journey with you.
I think I can, because at least the holiday special is trying to be something new. It goes back to those horrible droid episodes where it's like, at least it's trying to be something new. even though it's so bad, this was like they've had this came out in 2014.
Yeah.
So this came out before this came out after Force Awakens, right? When did Force Awakens come out?
Force Awakens was like December 2014.
Okay, okay.
I think this was right before.
All right, so they at least have at this point
2015.
2015. Okay, yeah, that's right, 2015. They at least have 6 episodes of Star Wars comic books, expanded universe. Disney takes over. Lucas says the expanded universe doesn't, count for anything anymore, which was a huge mistake. But I get why I did it. I feel like Disney should have said it, but I guess that to me to this day goes. I bet you Disney said we'll buy it, or a part of the conditions is you have to say the expanded universe is dead. So do we have to deal with when we make something, people on podcasts like this one go, you made a mistake because
I saw you coming.
Like where you're, like, I saw in the Courtship of Princess Leia that, this happened.
But I think that's even earlier. I mean, I think Lucas was pretty much on the expanded universe is dead when he made the prequels.
Right.
Yeah, because the prequels, contradict some
things.
Yeah,
that might be right.
Yeah, I think that's been a long-term thing.
To me, this was the way that it ended too is like this is unresolved. This whole New Yoda Chronicles is completely unresolved, and that's why I will say it's worse than the holiday special, because they basically made a 5-episode show with 4 episodes.
Yeah,
and they're finished.
But the holiday special had B. Arthur, so I think that's something you really gotta you gotta think about.
What a gem! See, it's probably the best part of that episode, really.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we could spiral about how dumb this was the whole time, but I'm just thinking about even when they reset for this season and there was like hundreds of holocrons, they set up this whole big thing, and then outside of those first 2 episodes that were kind of all right, this is what it's going to be about, they really kind of dropped it, and then it was like just one, and then they didn't really tie it back in the end. It's bad storytelling. So I guess
it wasn't even a clash.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, that's why I wrote in there like 3 seconds. I think they hit lightsabers 3 times.
Yeah.
Like 1, 2, 3, and then Luke tried his trick and Vader tossed him, and I was like, didn't even. I mean, they literally crashed harder than they clashed. Let's be honest. Like, and so it's just like, to me, I was just like,
yeah.
What a waste. They could have had them fight. They could have even had a fight scene that mimicked, the Return of the Jedi, like something that or a Mustafar type fight scene.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to member berry anything from the prequels, anything from the sequels, and they didn't. Like, like fighting and being like, "Oh, I almost lost a hand there." Like, it would have been funny. Like, "Oh, he said he almost lost his hand." Like, haha.
Right.
Like, no, they chose the fight to be 3 seconds long, and that was it. And I was like, "Dang, what a." It's just feels to me like it wasn't really it feels to me like it was created and written by the Lego people with the parameters of the Star Wars people.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think the bottom line is like it's a product. You know what I mean? It's a product. It's not like an artistic expression.
Yes.
I don't know. I can't really give it high yub-dubs because of that. Like, it's not hateable, really. It's just sort of like I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think there's any point.
It's just finished. I mean, we can't even say it resolved poorly because this technically wasn't. There was no resolution.
Well, maybe by the time we hit our 10-year anniversary, there'll be a 3rd season that will make it all worthwhile.
We should crowdfund it.
When Disney is bought by like Comcast Nabisco, and they decide to make a new.
No, it's gonna be Old Spice. It's gonna be some like product that has nothing to do with It's gonna be like the Luke Oil Star Wars Episode 19. You're like, what?
Yeah. Whatever mystery meat hybrid corporation shows up is gonna make it. But anyway, this was a drag, but the last 5 years have been fun, and the next 5 years will be fun. And our next episode, I also believe, will be fun because we're going to be covering a Superman Supergirl team up in the Superman animated series with the episode Unity, and we're going to have a guest, Eric Mickles from previously on X-Men, a big fan of Superman the animated series.
Yes,
is going to join us as we talk through this weird episode.
it's going to be fun to have an expert on. I got to be honest. And to me, I haven't watched the episode. Well, I've watched the episode. I used to own this on DVD back in the day when, like, you know, you went to, remember when you would go to, like, what was it? FYE or something, and they had like $9 seasons of shows, and like, you know, I don't know, I bought like X-Files, the OC, like I bought like, well, it's $9, you know, like I can resell it on Amazon. It's basically like renting it for $2. But yeah, I remember like the entire animated series. What is it, 5 seasons? It's like 5 seasons, right?
No, it's just 3. Yeah,
it's 3. Oh, was Batman the Animated Series 3 or 5? Oh, I can't, maybe.
Yeah, Batman with the New Batman Adventures, I think maybe is 5 volumes, 4 or 5. Eric could tell us.
Eric will tell us, yeah. But yeah, I owned all of the Superman ones, and I mean, such an iconic show, and I can't wait to watch it and hear the theme song again, and just be like, oh yes, just that era of Batman and Superman, so good. I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to do it with Eric too, because absolute expert. So it's going to be fun.
See you then.
All right, I'll see you then. This Endorian Life is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Be sure to check out some of the other shows on the network, including 90210 Here We Go and previously on X-Men. Please rate, subscribe, and share these shows wherever you get your podcasts.
Happy 5 years.
Happy 5!